if I watch another vlog where someone mentions that they have a big day ahead of themselves and all they really do is go to like SoulCycle, drink a green juice, sit on their laptop for a couple hours, maybe have a business call, and then go to Whole Foods, I am gonna lose my mind. What's up, you guys? It's Krista Sue. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Most important thing first, I hope that you have taken bare minimum the last week to educate yourselves on oppression and systemic racism in our country and have advocated for Black lives. But if you haven't, let me just say that listening to my opinions on lifestyle influencers should be like the very last thing on your to-do list. I have a ton of resources listed in the description of this video for you to both educate yourself and then also use your voice in a positive and productive way. I have everything from books to YouTubers to petitions to literally TikToks, guys. There is no excuse to do your part in order to make a change in our country. The most important link I have down there is a link to register to vote. It's so important to remember that with the ability to vote comes so much more than picking the president, although that is important. There are countless local officials and initiatives that can be voted on that can seriously make huge changes in our communities. We have to fix this system from the inside out. So please, if you can, be a part of that. With that being said, let's jump into the meat of this video. I'm assuming you clicked on this video because you already know what an influencer is, but just in case you live under a rock, the term influencer in today's day and age is referring to someone who has a sizable following on one or more social media platforms that has the power to affect the purchasing decisions of the people that follow or watch them. They typically post things in a particular niche, but that's not always the case. These people have the power to influence the people that watch them because of their authority or knowledge in a particular topic, or simply just because they have a relationship with their audience, so their audience trusts them. Companies often reach out to an influencer to promote their product or service in return for a sum of money, products, or both. This route of influencer marketing has become increasingly popular amongst companies because they get a much higher return on investment and the cost is much lower than traditional marketing methods. I consume a lot of influencer content, and I'm talking a lot. I think it's pretty common amongst 23-year-old women, but from fitness to fashion to food to lifestyle, I've seen it all really. But what I want to focus on today is lifestyle influencers on YouTube, the people that profit off of filming their daily lives. I started watching these people when I was in college because I felt like I related to them on some level, but I very quickly started to see past the bullshit, and that's what I want to talk about today. Lifestyle influencer bullshit and why I find it problematic. I do want to put out a few disclaimers before I jump into this video because this is a loaded topic. One, I'm not going to be calling out names in this video because I find it unnecessary. There are a lot of influencers that fall under this kind of lifestyle umbrella, and I'm not talking about all of them or anyone in particular. These are just patterns I've seen. There are even a few of them that I really like and I want to see them have long-term success and be happy, but that doesn't mean that I can't find their actions and their content somewhat problematic. Second disclaimer, I understand the appeal to lifestyle content. I've consumed a lot of it, and I also think there's a place for it on the internet. I think there's a place for all types of content, but I think it's really, really important for every single creator to have a balance in the content that they produce, and I find that this particular niche is really lacking that. I'm primarily making this video because I want all consumers to be aware of what they watch and what they listen to, because eventually, especially if you're consuming media a lot, you start to become what you consume, or at least it affects your behavior in some sort of way. And if there are any creators that are watching this that fall into the categories I'm going to be talking about, I want you to just take more responsibility for what you're putting out to your audience. I feel like some people might find this video a little bit uncalled for, but it really does come from a good place. And you know, there are some content creators that are blatantly problematic, that it's like obvious what they're doing like isn't right, but I think it's okay to look at all content with a critical eye and kind of just discuss what about it could be potentially damaging to the people that watch it. I've been compiling a list of my thoughts on this for a while, so if I'm looking off, that is because I'm looking at my 5-page Google Doc. I took a break from thinking about this topic for a while, but the recent death of George Floyd and the protests and then the subsequent posts from a lot of lifestyle influencers really relit the fire under my belt to talk about this. With that being said, grab a snack, get comfy, because this is gonna be a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking a note from Ready to Glare on this video and I'm categorizing it into chapters. Not all of these topics are mutually exclusive. There is some overlap, but I just kind of find that separating it into chapters kind of helps me communicate what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling a little bit better. So yeah, I am separating this into topics, but forgive me if I repeat myself in order to prove a different point. So I'm gonna have 3 different chapters in this video: the content or lack thereof, the hustle or lack thereof, and the relatability or lack thereof. There's 2 kind of subcategories of lifestyle influencers I'm going to be talking about in this video. Primarily, I'm going to be referring to post-college lifestyle influencers. And then I'm going to dabble into kind of college lifestyle influencers, but I don't find them as problematic. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, lifestyle vloggers film their day-to-day lives, and this wouldn't be nearly as problematic if they literally did anything of substance ever. If I watch another vlog where someone mentions that they have a big day ahead of themselves and all they really do is go to like SoulCycle, drink a green juice, sit on their laptop for a couple hours, maybe have a business call, and then go to Whole Foods, I am gonna lose my mind. Now this chapter is gonna be put into 4 subcategories because that's how much I have to say. They're going to be the quality, the quantity, the focus on consumption, and the sponsorships. From what I just said, you can probably gather that these vloggers do the exact same thing in almost every single one of their videos, and that lack of variety really translates as a lack of effort to me, and as a consumer I find that really frustrating. And I don't knock people for quitting their 9-to-5 job to do YouTube full-time at all. If it's lucrative enough for you, you should definitely go for it. I think almost anyone would take that opportunity. But if you are going to do that, I expect the quality and the quantity of your videos to go up. Tiffany Ferg made a really good video a while ago about YouTubers quitting their 9-to-5 jobs, so if you haven't watched that, I definitely recommend it. I'll link it down below. The quantity of the vlogs that are put out, I think, really plays into the effort that's put in as well, because if you're pumping out daily vlogs, that takes a lot of hustle to do. But if you're putting out 1 to 2 10 to 20 minute vlogs of you doing the exact same thing every week, you clearly aren't putting enough time and effort into this, and you're kind of taking advantage of this opportunity. And if you are really struggling to put out quality content regularly to your audience, then you should probably reevaluate why you continue doing this in the first place. It's not because you're passionate about YouTube or your audience, or else you wouldn't be putting out the same monotonous shit every single week to make a quick buck. At least that's how it comes off. Now, the focus on consumption. This topic is what initially made me want to film this video. Throughout lifestyle vloggers' videos, they are constantly talking about what they're wearing, the products they're using, and the things they're gifted by companies. And I understand that they are influencers and it's their job to talk about brands and influence their audience, but the constant promotion of consumerism is frankly disgusting. Even the most self-aware consumers can be persuaded to purchase unnecessary goods. I know that when I fall into a cycle of watching lifestyle vloggers all the time, I kind of get into the mindset that I need to purchase these things that they're talking about in order to feel more fulfilled or to have a better life. I don't really know how to put it. And I'm a 23-year-old that makes a point to be aware of how the media I'm consuming affects me. Imagine the younger, more impressionable people that watch these creators because they look up to them and want to be like them in some sort of way because they see their lives and they want that for themselves. It just makes me sad to think about, you know? Because this lifestyle isn't normal or attainable for most people, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I urge any creators watching this to yeah, do what you usually do because it is your job, but also focus on things that matter. Because in the end, we're not gonna have the purses and the makeup and the shoes. Provide value to your audience, teach them something, make them laugh, discuss informative topics, open up about your struggles even. Literally do anything besides talk about your favorite pair of jeans or the skincare you were just gifted. Now the sponsorships, they don't bother me as much, and that's why I'm not going to talk about them as much, but I just figured I'd throw it in here. I like when I see my favorite creators get sponsorships. I'm like, get that coin, sis. But I hate when I see them take sponsorships that don't really have anything to do with them. And I would even be fine if it literally had nothing to do with them and their lives, if they put more effort into incorporating it into their videos in a proper way. And that ties into the quality and quantity points that I made earlier too. If you have a sponsored video this week, incorporate it well into your videos, put that effort in, and then make a point to put out extra content that isn't sponsored to your audience that week. People don't like when they're constantly being pushed something. I personally feel taken advantage of.
Oh, the hustle of being a girl boss that is just constantly on the go.
They work so hard as they check off one of the 4 things they have to do that day. Again, this section doesn't really apply to college lifestyle influencers because the fact that they're pushing out weekly content or more in the midst of getting an education and possibly being a part of extracurricular activities and stuff like that, I find is super commendable. This again is focusing on the post-college lifestyle influencers that fit into the categories that I mentioned above. It really irks me when people claim that they hustle and they work really hard when it's obvious that they don't. Like, you can really tell if someone has had a long-term 9-to-5 by the videos they put out, you know? I've put out a couple of vlogs. They aren't that hard to do, especially if you've been doing it for literally years. I'm sure it's like second nature to them. I've come to find that the sad reality is that the people that are currently lifestyle influencers that fall into this category, sure, they did hustle at some point when they were in high school or college or both to get to the point where they are now. But now they are clearly just coasting on what they have already established for themselves, which, like, good for you, but don't you want to do better for your subscribers and your audience? And if you truly don't give a shit about your audience, then don't you just want to build something sustainable for yourself? Because posting videos about a workout class and you sitting on the computer and like going to the grocery store isn't going to be profitable for you forever. I feel like quite a few people have talked about how content creators, when they find a certain amount of success, become less relatable, but I do want to touch on it because I feel like people always talk about really successful content creators and how they become less relatable, like the ones that are just like dripping in Louis, you know? But this is a really lucrative business for people that even have like 100 to 200,000 subscribers, people that you might not initially think of. Content creators that have around 200K, that have above 10% engagement and have a decent watch time easily make like around 40K in AdSense a year, which is already at the average household income in the United States by itself. And then on top of that, they have sponsorship, which is where they primarily make their money, so that probably doubles it. So they're sitting at 80 to 90K. And then sometimes they have other things like merch, podcasts I've seen a lot of them get into. So they're making quite a bit of money on this, okay? Most 21 to 22-year-olds don't make 100K a year. That's just how it is. Most people at all don't make about 100K a year. That's honestly my low estimate. Some of them are making more than that. Now this chapter, I do kind of throw college-aged influencers in as well. The ones that make a substantial amount of money and then some of them don't even pay for their school, you know, those ones. You know, it's funny because these creators, they gained a following at some point because yes, they were relatable, but as they've continued to gain success, they become further and further removed from what is the reality and the norm for people their age, and they just aren't relatable anymore. It doesn't even take that much luxury to become not relatable. Like, I've seen some of these people that are living in easily $3,500 a month apartments, which is absurd. You don't need that. You don't need that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little heated. And the whole relatability thing, it makes me think, you know, these people are called influencers because they influence the behavior of the people that watch them. And you need to think, why do they affect that behavior? For a lot of younger people, it's because they watch these videos and maybe at some point they did relate to this person, but this person is now living more of a luxurious lifestyle, and the person that once related to them, you know, now aspires to be like them. So they will do what they need to do and buy what they need to buy in order to feel more connected to this individual, be more like them, because they want to live that life. And these influencers must not realize this, because if they did, surely I would hope that they would decrease the amount of vapid, materialistic content they put out, right? They wouldn't negatively affect their audience like this, right? Do they not think about, I could probably drone on and on about this for hours, but those are the main problems I have with lifestyle bloggers and influencers. Obviously, not every lifestyle influencer falls into these categories, but there are definitely a lot, and I find that just disheartening and problematic. What I saw from some of these influencers after the death of George Floyd and during the protest was honestly just shocking. So many of them had admitted to just now educating themselves on the issue of oppression and systemic racism in our country. And that just makes me think, how many other issues do they just completely lack an awareness of that they should be using their platform to advocate for, but they haven't, because they're living under a veil of ignorance and privilege. I personally believe it's never too late to become better and be better. So I genuinely hope that this has encouraged people that have a platform to use it in a better way. What I want you to take away from this video is to just think about who you're watching on this platform and if they add value to your life. If they do, then that's amazing and you should keep on watching them. And if they don't, then you should think about if this person that has a lack of awareness, that focuses on materialism, and that doesn't put time and effort into their channel, deserves the money that your views are giving them. If you do know of great content creators that you love, definitely put those in the comments below, because I'm always looking for new people to support. If you are a creator and you have been using your platform in a positive and productive way, then I applaud you. And if you're a creator that does fall into the categories that I discussed today, I just encourage you to digest what I've said in an objective way and potentially turn it around and put more effort into your channel. So yeah, that just about covers it. I actually think I got through this pretty quick. I'm surprised. If you did like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up down below. That really helps me out. And subscribe to me if you want to. If not, I get it. Yeah, I'll see you next time, guys.